Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
We're here at the KTLK AM 1150 studios in Burbank. Resiliency is our show's theme, and what to do when you face the who would have thunk. This is Nelson Radio. I'm delighted to be with Beth Stein, the Vice President of Coldwell Banker. This segment brought to you by TITLE365 with listener questions. Call us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. We're jumping into Coach's Corner with Victor Rojas. So, Victor Rojas, it's great to be with you. We've been commenting on resiliency throughout our show, and I wanted to have you share your experiences as an athlete first in just being resilient.
Well, I mean, it's not so much as it being an athlete. It's almost a resiliency in life for me. I'm a guy that kind of grew up in the game of baseball with my dad having played big league ball, and my life dream was always to play professionally. And I was given that opportunity in 1990 in the Angels minor league system. And the mindset or the circumstance or whatever the case may be just wasn't right for me, and I was already out of baseball 4 years later. And for me, it was about trying to kind of find my legs, find a common ground as far as my mind, my being, and what I wanted to do with my life. And I kind of just floated around for about 6 years and trying to decide what I was going to do with my life. And I think I finally came to the realization that I wanted to do something bigger and better and be involved in sports. And so I decided to on a whim with no experience or whatever, and decided to try this broadcasting thing out. And former big league catcher Rick Cerrone owned the Newark Bears at the time, and he hired me to be in his front office and kind of put his independent league team together and gave me an opportunity to be a broadcaster. And my mindset and my drive and my determination was going to be on the broadcasting side. And, I was fortunate enough to get hooked up with MLB.com, and that led to the All-Star Game in 2002 in Milwaukee, which led to a great cut on my demo reel, which led to a big league job with the Diamondbacks in 2003, and it's been a whirlwind since for me. But I think it all goes back to committing yourself to whatever that ultimate goal is and sticking with it regardless of what gets thrown your way. And I've gone from a radio guy to a part-time TV guy, to a network analyst, to a full-time TV play-by-play guy in the number 2 market in the country. And I think a lot of that has to do with the resiliency that I've had throughout my personal and professional life. And, I've been fortunate enough to land here in Southern California, and I'm certainly enjoying it.
How big a transition was that? Obviously, you're in a baseball family. Your dad, Cookie, was a major leaguer, and was there that transition of obviously coming from there had to be family expectations or your own expectations that you were going to follow that path, and then it veered off course in a different direction 3 years into your baseball career. Was there a transition?
Yeah, there was never any expectations from my dad or my mom's point of view. I mean, there's 4 boys, 3 brothers, and we all grew up just loving the game of baseball.
Right.
And but they never put pressure on us to say, hey, you should try this or you should do that. Matter of fact, they were the complete opposite. You want to try football, knock yourself out. You want to play basketball, knock yourself out. Don't worry about what I did as a career. You need to find what it is that you love and find the passion for it and the drive and motivation to kind of get you to that upper echelon. And whatever that is, we're going to support you. So fortunately, the 4 of us were gifted with parents that weren't going to put the added pressure on us.
Nelson Radio is with Victor Rojas in Coach's Corner. We want to share your story as well about resilience in business or your life. Coach's Corner brought to you by TITLE365. Reach out to us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Let's switch gears here as we close out this segment. I appreciate you being on Coach's Corner with us. You've had some big moments, and I know in tennis I have what I consider the biggest moments of my career, and most of them were things that maybe were around the game, but were not necessarily the centerpiece of competition. I remember playing at Wimbledon and going into the center court before the tournament started and just sitting there in the empty stands, and that became one of the biggest moments of my sports life. Big moments for you. What comes to mind?
Oh, I guess from a personal standpoint, and that's a pretty cool story about center court at Wimbledon. And I have one that kind of relates a little bit in that I was working for MLB.com, and this would have been in the fall of 2002, and I was in Arizona doing the Arizona Fall League. And they play in the spring training homes of the different major league teams. And I happened to be in Maryvale, just outside of Phoenix, which is where the Brewers make their spring training camps. And I was going to call the Arizona Fall League championship game. And as I was walking up to the broadcast booth, I'm feeling pretty good about myself because it's the big league spring training ballpark, and I'm going into the big league spring training broadcast booth. And I'll never forget this. And I looked into the Brewers side of things. I said, that's where Bob Uecker calls games for the Brewers. And Uecker played with my dad with the Phillies in the 60s, and great guy. I'm thinking, man, it's going to be pretty cool, when I get here. And I said that to myself. I never shared that with anybody, but I said that to myself. It's going to be pretty cool when I get here and be able to call games at the big league level. And then the following season, the following January, I get hired by the Arizona Diamondbacks, and there I am, kind of full circle now as a big league broadcaster. So as it relates to your center court story, I've been there. It's pretty cool. But as far as other big moments, from a broadcasting standpoint, I've been a part of 3 no-hitters now, 2 with the Angels, 1 when I was with a member of the Texas Rangers. I actually had the call on Sammy Sosa's 600th home run in Texas against the Cubs.
Wow.
Against Jason Marquis, the pitcher of the Cubs, who was wearing Sammy Sosa's old number 21. So there's pretty cool storylines there.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to be around quite a few things. One last one, though, just it stands out for me and my family. My dad, big time, loves baseball to no end. He played it since he was a kid in Cuba. And but as a player, as a coach, as a scout, never got to a World Series. That is until 2000 when he was a third base coach with the New York Mets, which ended up being the New York Series. But when they clinched, we were at Shea Stadium. It was myself and my 2 older brothers and my mom. And at Old Shea Stadium, there's this tunnel that walks from the clubhouse, or from the clubhouse to the dugout. So it takes a little while for the players to get from the dugout back into the clubhouse. Well, the family room, there's a path that walks right in front of the connecting tunnel that in between the clubhouse and the dugout. And so all the celebrating is going on. We walk downstairs. We're in the elevator, get downstairs. And the minute we get to that tunnel that leads toward the dugout, there's my dad. I mean, you couldn't have scripted it any better. He's going to get a chance to go to his first World Series, and his family arrives at the same time at the same intersection with him, just in full embrace. So, I mean, it was
great moment.
One of the things that I'll never, ever forget.
I got the chills hearing about it. Great story. Victor Rojas, thanks for being with us. That was fabulous storytelling, and as always, we enjoy your broadcasts and you call in the games. Let's get those Angels up above 500, will you?
Yeah. I'll do my best from up in the broadcast booth. It's a pleasure being on with you, and enjoy the rest of the summer.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Victor.
You got it.
While you're driving, stay with us. Beth and I are moving towards the Stump the Expert segment, addressing tough questions asked by you. This week's show on resiliency, presented by TITLE365. Give us a call, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. We'll be right back.
Licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Radio, and it's important that we talk about a very serious issue. We had bad lending practices that led to the mortgage meltdown, but now we've got the challenge of deplorable customer service coming out of the meltdown. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine.
I've got the solution. Academy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can improve if the market goes down. Purchase transactions with our market-exclusive close-on-time guarantees and refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from your mortgage lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert for nearly 3 decades, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or at strongcreditrewards.com.